So welcome everybody to Grant Writing 101 for National PTA grants. There's a couple I don't know, but I'm Melanie Gamble. I'm the president of Escambia County Council. And Samantha Strickland is the VP for Escambia County Council.
Hello.
And I'm going to introduce Amy Marie Granger Welch, and she will tell a little bit about herself and go into the program. Take it away, Amy.
Alrighty. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. My name is Amy Marie Granger Welch, and I'm the VP of Advocacy for Hillsborough County Council PTA. I am the School of Excellence Chair for Florida PTA, and then I am a member of the National PTA Programs Committee. I'm excited to share this information with National PTA grants and how you can apply for funding from National PTA to support your PTA. So I've personally written quite a few grants, but I've received funding for about 7 programs over the past 8 years through National PTA, mostly for local unit programs and a couple for our council. I've also participated in the blind judging of grant applications on the programs committee. So I have a pretty good understanding of what they're looking for. So National PTA is offering over $1 million to PTAs to help conduct programs in school communities. It's a big number. I think it's up from last year, so that's super exciting. The application period just opened, so you really only have to answer a few questions and you can get $12.50 or even more for program funding, but we'll go through that here. And then it closes Tuesday, October 1st. So got a good few weeks to get this all wrapped up and submitted. Throughout the year, National PTA offers awards and grants to honor or support PTAs as they engage families, support student success, improve the health and safety of students and families, increase access to arts education, or celebrate advocacy and diversity. Significant funding is available to support local efforts for your students, families, and community to participate in educational activities that are engaging, inspiring, and most of all, super fun. So what funding is not needed to implement PTA programs, especially the national PTA programs, are free to everyone. It can be used to support running programs or making programs more accessible to all students. Things like helping your PTA cover food, childcare, translators, things like that. The application process is super easy. I had no grant writing experience at all. Prior to starting writing them. I think my first one was for National PTA and I got it. So I promise you it's super easy, and I'll walk you through the steps so you can get some funding to help you reach your PTA's goals in your school community. All right. So our mission, over 125 years, National Parent Teacher Association has worked toward bettering the lives of every child in education, health, and safety. National PTA is a powerful voice for all children, a relevant resource for families and communities, and a strong advocate for public education. Today's PTA is a network of millions of families, students, teachers, administrators, business and community leaders devoted to educational success of children and the promotion of family engagement in schools. One of the ways we support our shared mission is through programs that help families build a strong connection to other families, educators, and their children. National PTA programs are all designed to increase family engagement and community engagement and help provide enrichment opportunities outside the traditional curriculum. Let's get started. So step 1, make sure your local unit is in compliance, because you don't want to do all this work and then not be in compliance. So many of these things are hopefully already done because they are overdue if they're not. So new and returning officers is number 1. Make sure that's done. That was due July 1st. Audit should be completed and submitted to Florida PTA due August 31st. Third is your 990 completed and submitted to IRS and Florida PTA. While that's not due until November, if your audit's already done, you can absolutely do your 990 and get that out of the way. Paying dues, very important. Those are due monthly to Florida PTA, so you can pop into your givebacks, make sure those are up to date. Bylaws, again, every 3 years, you can always check with Florida PTA or your council leaders to see if you need any help with that. They're happy to help, I'm sure. Make sure you have current insurance for your local unit. If you need help from Florida PTA, you can reach out to compliance@floridapta.org for support, or your council is absolutely there to support you. And most of these things, I promise you, are super easy to remedy really fast. So next thing you want to do is explore the different programs and grant opportunities available. I love the way they did it this year. They broke them down into categories by grade level to make it a little easier. So we'll start with all grades. In the center is the things that are available this year. So all grades and ages, PTA Healthy Minds. This program is for all grades and ages. 50 local PTAs will be selected and each will be awarded $12.50 in funding. Healthy Minds supports PTAs in connecting their school community with mental health resources and programming. We all know every local unit could use some support with that. Reflections, obviously, this program's been around since 1969, a beloved program of PTA, and it's intended for all grades and all ages. 2 local units will be selected and each will be awarded $12.50 in funding. Reflections helps students explore their own thoughts, feelings, and ideas, develop artistic literacy, increase confidence, and find a love for learning that will help them become more successful in school and life. PTA Wellness Fairs. This program is for all grades and ages. 40 local PTAs will be selected, and each will be awarded $12.50 in funding. PTA Wellness Fairs allow students and families to explore a variety of health topics in a fun, flexible, and interactive way. You must incorporate PTA Healthy Bodies, Healthy Earth, or Healthy Minds resources into that health fair, and you can check out those pillars at National PTA under Healthy Lifestyles. PTA Connected, the Smart Talk is the one that's good for all ages, all grades, and all ages. 20 local PTAs will be selected and each will be awarded $12.50 in funding. All programs must be completed by the end of March 2025. And the Smart Talk enables students ages 5 to 17 and their caregivers to collaborate in making household decisions and rules around device use, digital safety, privacy, communication, and media. Elementary. So the STEM plus Families Propelling Our World program is a really cool program by Hunting and Ingalls Industries. This program is for elementary schools. There's 40 local units that will be selected and each will get $12.50. Propelling Our World provides hands-on engineering and design challenges that bring students and families together and helps all students explore STEM activities. We did this through our high school. Our high school students went and facilitated the program at the middle school that feeds into our high school. And it was just really cool to see our high school students doing, with their peer, the middle school students with their peers. So think outside the box when you're thinking about how you're gonna facilitate these programs, because there's plenty of different ways you can do it. PTA Connected Ready Tech Go. This one's by AT&T. They're giving 350 local PTAs $1,500 in funding. So it's a pretty big one, but to be considered for funding, PTAs must hold this program in person. At-home programming won't be supported for this particular one. Ready Tech Go is a great program. I actually facilitated this one last year, and it helps parents and caregivers navigate online challenges through meaningful peer-to-peer discussions about screen readiness and ways to promote healthy and responsible device use. Middle school. So middle school, we've got, what do we got here? PTA Connected, Be Internet Awesome. This is a really cool program sponsored by Google. This program is for elementary and middle school, and 55 local PTAs will be selected, and each gets $12.50. Be Internet Awesome engages parents and caregivers in peer-to-peer conversations about raising children in an online world. We all know more digital literacy is absolutely a priority in this day and age, for sure. And then Healthy Bodies Tobacco Prevention Campaign, which is the campaign for tobacco-free kids. This program is for middle and high school. So at least 15 PTSAs serving grades 6 through 12 will be selected, and they'll get $1,500 in funding to educate their communities about tobacco use and how to support the elimination of tobacco products. And then moving on to high school, we've got PTA Connected Build Up and Belong, which is sponsored by Discord. This program for high schools, 25 PTSAs will be selected and each gets 2,000 in funding. Build Up and Belong is a great program. I actually facilitated this one as well. It brings teens and their caregivers together to explore the use of technology as a communication and relationship tool, discussing ways to build belonging and positive communities in our digital world, and learn how to navigate privacy and safety on digital platforms, and building interactive conversations as a family about things that happen, experiences, and expectations. The other online program for PTA Connected for high school is sponsored by TikTok. This program is the PTAs will get 3,000 in funding, and district and countywide SEPTAs and state PTAs can also apply. So if you're a district, you might want to think about this one. You can get 5,000 in funding. This program will bring high school families together for an open and interactive discussion with teens on their online experiences and equip families with practical information and resources to enhance online safety as teens use various digital platforms. It's a great program. I've facilitated most of these programs, and they're all great programs. Can I apply for multiple funding opportunities? You may be asking. Well, you can actually apply for up to 3, and you're only eligible to receive 1 grant this program, but they encourage you to apply for multiple opportunities that you might be eligible for. If you guys have questions, just pop them in the chat and we'll get them at the end and I'll open discussion. So I highly suggest checking out the rubric. I've been a judge, so I know that they don't give you much wiggle room. You have a 0 to 4 scale. And to receive a 4, you need to meet some of this criteria. So number 1, funding needs and equity. How do you plan to use this funding kind of to offer that effective program? What challenges would this funding help solve? So the answer should really explain how the PTA will use this funding to solve challenges and increase the PTA's ability to run an effective program, and provides a high level of detail or concrete examples. Number 2, community needs. How does your PTA know that this program or programs you've selected is going to even meet the needs in your community? How will you gather feedback from your school community before and after the program to know you've met their needs? So the answer should explain how they're determining, how are you determining these community needs? How are you gaining input from individuals of all identities and backgrounds, and how the selected programs will meet those needs in significant detail? Number 3, family and community engagement. How will funding create opportunity for your family, school, and community members, and make sure all are included and feel welcome in that process of planning, designing, delivery, and celebration of your program? The answer should describe in significant detail how families will engage in more than one way. More than one way. Number 4, this is a grant-specific question because they're going to ask you to show your understanding of the specific national PTA program that you're applying for. So that's where that research comes in handy. So the answer should demonstrate explicitly how the specific national PTA program and the resources available will be implemented. All those resources available on National PTA's website. So they're all, like I said, they're free, so you can go in there and check them out. It really goes back to researching that program you're applying for, so make sure you don't skip over that step. Next thing you're thinking about, you'll want to establish buy-in, because you're going to answer all these questions for this rubric. So you're going to be doing some research and some conversations, talking to your admin and staff, see what they've identified as priorities. That can help you align your programs that you're choosing to support and complement needs that they've already identified. This will kind of help to establish some buy-in from admin and staff, and maybe build you a champion within the staff that can support the collaborative effort. Your school should have a school improvement plan. Under Florida law, schools are required to submit school improvement plans. It's called a SIP plan. These plans detail schools' goals related to increasing student achievement. They also include information about strategies and resources that will be utilized to attain these goals. This can be a great tool to determine which program would fit the needs of your community. So they've already gone through all that data to create their goals. This can really narrow down the one that you might want to pick. I highly suggest looking at this every year if you don't already do. Even if you don't apply for a grant, I highly suggest checking it out because it'll help you guys figure out your programming so it aligns with what the school's doing. So it makes a bigger impact. Talk to students and families. Obviously super important because you're trying to increase family engagement. Doing surveys is great. You can do the online survey, you can do paper survey, passing out car line. That's great. Doing that's awesome. Do a listening session, have a coffee talk where people come in and you really review all the different programs and ask for input. That's a great idea too, or you can do all of that. Make sure you talk to students because the programs are directly going to benefit them, and it's important to get their feedback on what they would like to do as well. You want their buy-in because it is for them. At the middle school and high school level, it's a great opportunity to get them involved in the process. We're always trying to figure out how do we get our students to participate? How do we get them to engage in PTA? This is a great opportunity. They can do research. They can help write the grant. They can help you facilitate the program. They can get that excitement going within the student body. Empowering students can really take your programs to the next level. I promise you that. Some things to consider. So which delivery model would work best for your community, right? So local units are encouraged to select PTA programs and that program delivery model. That's where that research coming in again, based on that unique needs in your own community. Obviously, make sure you review the grant thoroughly to make sure which models are allowed. For instance, ready to go, only available for in-person. So the options are in-person, the at-home model, or either self-paced or tech-free, or like a combination of all of those. And all the plans are available on National PTA. They have all the steps. Each program is flexible and offers free technical assistance. I'm sorry, I live by the base. If you heard that jet, I apologize. You guys are probably used to that up there. So all the programs they have technical assistance, leader to leader learning opportunities, and drag and drop materials. So National PTA walks you through the whole process. Once you achieve these grants and you are in a cohort, and they always have so many great opportunities for people to interact with each other, brainstorm with each other, and you get to meet other leaders, and it's always a really good experience. I've never found it to be a bad thing. It's always really cool to find out what other local units are doing and having success with. You never know what you could share that could really impact another local unit's outreach efforts. So we be able to complete the program within the required time frame. So the funding is support programming for the 24-25 school year. So program implementation has to be completed within the date range for your awarded program. All of them are a little bit different. Most of them have to be completed by May 16th. But some of them, like the PTA Connected program, the Smart Talk program, has to be completed by the end of March. And then Healthy Bodies Tobacco Prevention has to be completed by April 15th. So there's usually some wiggle room in those dates, but they're usually given to National PTA by their funders. So you kind of have to make sure you can get it done within the time frame allowed. And then you have 10 days after the program's over to complete your program leader feedback form. So you just want to make sure you give yourself enough time to get it done and get that program form, which is not a hard form to do. It's just some feedback about the things that happened and usually pictures and things like that. Number 3, what will the funding be used for? So while I said national PTA programs are totally free, but you may face implementation costs such as custodial services, food, transportation, maybe getting your families some transportation to get to school, translation services. The funding is flexible, so you can decide how to meet your needs and make your program a success. So be thoughtful in the barriers that prevent your community from participating in programs when you're considering how funding will be used. They don't ask you they don't ask how you used it, but sometimes, they do have budgets and all those things available. So if you don't know, they actually have some sample budgets. So things you're going to have ready, because you're ready to write this thing. You're ready to get going. So national PTA ID, you're going to need that. But if you don't have it, it doesn't matter, because you can look it up on the form when you get in there. Just make sure the address and the phone number that auto populates is correct. You're going to need your EIN. If you don't have that, you can ask your treasurer or president for the EIN. It should be in your givebacks as well. So you can look in there. Make sure to know if your school is Title I. So you usually just check the school website, but you could always ask your principal as well. Know the programs you're applying for. Pick at least 3. Pick 3 programs. You're going to need to rank them in order of interest. And you can receive funding for one, but it really does increase your chances if you have more than one program that you're applying for. Have contact info for 2 additional PTA contacts. So gather the name and email and phone number for 2 additional PTA contacts that would be helping with the program. Whether you have a committee already, or it's the president and the secretary, or the someone at your school that is supporting you, you just make sure you have 2 extra people that you're going to add in there, because they will want that. So let's talk about the questions. So you're welcome. Obviously, you can do it in any language that works for you, other than you can even put it in a language other than English. You'll just type it in like you would. The limit is 250 words, which is pretty short. So it doesn't actually take very long to get to 250 words. You have to be very concise and clear on what you're talking about. If writing isn't your jam, you can submit a video link. I think that's a really great option. If you're into that kind of thing, or maybe even having the students help you with the video portion, if you choose to go that route, that's a great way to get them involved. So first question is, how do you plan to use this funding to offer an effective program? What challenges would this funding help solve? So remembering the rubric and using all the feedback you've received from your community, you're kind of ready to get started, right? You can answer the questions, like I said, with that video link, be concise. This answer should clearly explain how the PTA will use the funding to solve challenges and increase the PTA's ability to run an effective program. And again, it's going to provide some detail, some concrete examples of how it's going to solve some of those challenges that your community faces in engagement. All right. So question 2, how does your PTA know what programs you selected is going to meet the needs of your community? How will you gather feedback from your school community before and after a program to know you've met their needs? So this is where you talk about the different programs and how it aligns with the issues or the priorities in your community, because you've talked to your admin, you've talked to your staff, you've talked to your students, talked to your community, and how you reached out to all the stakeholders. How'd you do that? What were the steps that you took to get some of that feedback before? And then how will you gauge the success? Will you do an after action report, a survey, listening sessions, or kind of a combination of all the above? How will you determine the impact of your event? Again, you're limited to 250 words. It really does, it's very short. You think it's not, but it really is. The answer should explain how you are determining community needs, how you are gaining input from all individuals of all identities and backgrounds, and how the selected programs will meet those needs in significant detail. Question 3, how will funding create opportunity for your family, school, community members and make sure all are included and feel welcome in the planning, design, delivery, and celebration of your program? So think about how the funding can be used to allow all the help in the process of the program. Did you engage students in the process? Are you using translation services to meet a population of families you usually struggle to engage? Are you collaborating with community partners to increase community engagement? We partner with, we have a science and industry museum in our community where I live, and we always partner with them when we do STEM, events or STEAM events. They always bring great resources, and they always bring that expert touch. So think about the different community partners or businesses or different organizations within your community that could really add some value. That's always a great thing to add to these programs. You do not have to stay confined to exactly what this program, you can add different things. You can add partners and things like that. So like if you're going to do a digital safety program, for instance, you might want to bring in your, I don't know what you have. We have sheriff where we are, and we also have a police department in our city. So sometimes we collaborate with them. We also collaborate with our FBI in our community to bring them in when we're doing digital safety programming in our community. So thinking outside the box in which kind of community partners would be good. That's a great thing to add in here. This answer should describe in detail how families will engage in more than one way. Those are the basic grant questions about just how you're going to facilitate the grant. The last question is to explain your PTA's interest in each specific program you're selecting. How do you plan to use those materials and the program meet the program requirements? So this answer should explicitly explain how the specific program and resources will be implemented. For this question, it's going to go back to that researching the program that you're applying for. So again, don't skip over that step. And then question 5. This is a yes or no. I always click the yes. It's asking you if you're interested in testing out new programs. I always think that's super fun. But I like that kind of thing. I always like to see what's in the pipeline and kind of be part of that process of vetting new programs. So it's up to you what you pick, yes or no. But again, I always pick yes because I'm a nerd like that. When will you receive when will you find out if you receive funding? Recipients will be announced in mid-November, and then program implementation has to take place within the 24-25 school year or within that date range for your awarded program. And again, your PTAs receive regular support. You become part of a cohort, you get communication from national PTA, you become part of a group that kind of you build together, and you have collaborative effort, and it's the staff from National PTA is amazing through the whole program process. They are always there to support you and help you out. Things to remember. So if you do get a grant, you're going to want to make sure you call a special meeting to amend your budget and notify your membership. Check your bylaws for number of days needed to notify the special meeting, and then you'll need an incoming and an outgoing line to spend these funds. So you're all ready. You're so excited. You cannot wait, right? So you're going to go to the website now and you're going to start your application to put your local unit in to receive funding from National PTA. And again, $1 million in available funding to help PTAs conduct programs in school communities. That's amazing. The chances are good you could receive funding, but you will only receive it if you apply. So that's the kicker. You got to apply. So please take the time, check it out. The application period, again, it's open now, and then it closes on October 1st. So got good amount of time to figure it out. Don't delay. And then I included this link to a step-by-step video as well that walks you through that whole process visually and explains each step in detail as well. It has the whole application process. It's done by National PTA, and it's a really great video. It's only about 6 or 7 minutes, so it goes really fast, but it's something good to watch right before you submit it, so you kind of have an idea of what you need. And again, if you have questions, you can always email pta.org, programs@pta.org. National PTA is really good about getting back if you have any questions. Check out the FAQs. Your question might already be up there. And you can always email me at so.excellence@floridapta.org. I'm happy to help you brainstorm or fill out the form, whatever. I'm always happy to help people try to get something done for this. So that's it. Hopefully you have 1,000 questions or no questions. I don't know. What you got,
Thank
Melanie?
you, Amy. So surely someone has some questions. Let her know.
I would think. I went really fast, but I'm happy to answer questions.
I'll start. Is there any certain wordage you would suggest they use? Is there any key ideas of how to exactly word what you're putting in your grant?
I would go to the Family School Partnership and the national standards and check out the national standards as well. Um, because obviously the national standards for family school partnerships play into that. So make sure you're talking about collaboration, communication, diversity. How are you figuring out, what the diversity is in your school and how you're going to reach the people that you don't usually reach? So I don't know if that answered your question, but definitely talking about family engagement, how you're going to bring more families in, how it's going to increase membership. That's always something that they're looking for. And then how are you going to collaborate if you're collaborating with other units? I always think that's super fun. If maybe you're a rock star unit, you just really don't need this funding, but you may have some neighboring local units that could use some support if uh, you get this grant and they have a little, baby PTA and newer PTA, maybe partnering with other local units to facilitate a community-wide program could be something really cool. So thinking outside the box. I know when I judge, I'm always like looking for those ideas of how they're really trying to build family engagement and how they're trying to, not just buying pizza, but they're really delving into like who isn't showing up and how can we really figure out how to get the people that really want to show up, because everybody wants to show up for their kids. Nobody wants their kids' lives to be sucky. I always say that nobody wants their kids' lives to be worse than their own. And I always say there's always an opportunity, whether you're doing things virtually, at certain times, or trying to meet the different needs within your community. So I think leaning into that is important. What else?
So there's a question in the chat. I'm trying to get to it.
Okay, now let me see if I can see it. Is there a place to look at previously submitted grant requests? You can actually see National PTA, if you go to the National PTA programs page and the grants information, you can see some of the things that people have done in the past. They do highlight some stories from local units that have facilitated grants. So yeah.
And I think they've been posting that on the National PTA Facebook page too.
Yeah.
Little clips of what they've done with their grants.
Yeah. But if you go to National PTA programs, usually if even within the programs page, they usually highlight a few different examples of local units. But on the grants page, there's a full section of different local units that have gone grants before. So yes, the answer is yes.
So we have a recently reinstated middle school who has a very active elementary, literally next door. They share a driveway that has a really active PTA. So I'm thinking when you said to combine two different two units, two local units, two schools, that would be a great opportunity for the newly reinstated middle school to reach out and say, hey, we share families, why don't we go in together with this or something, no matter which one gets the grant. And actually don't want to call the person out. She's on the call. If she wants to be called out, she can yell at me.
Hint, hint, cough, cough.
Okay. So Kelly, you might want to pair with Kingsfield and y'all both apply for a grant that y'all both want, and then it doubles the chances that you'll get it, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, I doubt you would.
I love that idea. I love that idea.
I doubt seriously that two people would get the same grant in the same county. So, but if you both apply, then maybe one of y'all will get it. I don't know, or apply together. Maybe that would be the key that brings you to the top, that two local units are applying together. Can they do that, Amy? Nope.
No.
Never mind. Scratch that idea.
I mean, that you can talk about collaborating with another PTA. I know that when we applied at the high school for our STEM grant that we got a couple of years ago, part of that was that we were going to do outreach with our students and then having our students facilitating the program at the middle school. It was really cool. We did it for the STEM program, and then we also did it prior to that. We got a grant for one of the digitals, the PTA Connected. I believe it's the beast. I think it was the Smart Talk, but I've gotten most of the digital ones, but and then our students facilitated the Smart Talk at the middle school. So our high school students went and facilitated it and helped put it on. It was really well done, but they had a good time. They had a good time doing it, and it really teaches them some life skills, because they had to facilitate the program. They had to come up with the ideas of the things that they were going to do, and go through all the program materials themselves. And it's a good learning experience. And the kids, I've discovered, high school students love throwback. They love to throw back to like high school and elementary, because they're really on the precipice of adulthood and going back and like, oh, I remember when I did this in 3rd grade. Or, they love facilitating the STEM experiments. For instance, we hosted a STEM program for Title I schools through the district, and I had high school student volunteers facilitating the experiments at the tables, and the high school volunteers were having so much fun putting little bamboo skewers through balloons like they used to do when they were in 4th grade. Like, they were just they had so much fun. The kids really respond to other kids, and so it was just a good way to get multiple units working together and getting peer-to-peer support. You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. I think we have several high schools and middle schools that could do exactly that with the level down below them. I think it's a great idea to look into. So is everybody ready to start writing their grants? I can't remember
It's
how
only
long ago.
it's 750 words, really. And like, it's really not that many words, maybe 1,000 most, but
I'm not sure Escambia County local units have gotten a national grant in, let's just say, quite some time, and I'm not sure anybody's applied.
Oh my gosh, you guys all have to apply. Promise me you'll apply, because you can't get it if you don't do it. And there really is a good opportunity. This is a really good program here. There's a lot of funding available. And they really do, especially if you have Title I local units, or you have local units that are maybe just starting out, like you said, it's a good opportunity to show the value of PTA for your families. So increasing membership, it's tied to value. What is the value that PTA brings? And the value that PTA brings is the ability for us to bring people together and to provide enrichment and to advocate for our kids. So this is just a really great way to kind of boost your membership as well, because you're doing something totally new and bringing something fun to your school. So
I just had a quick question. Do you know like any examples or ways you could, in your opinion, that we could get families to come that don't always particularly come? I'm new to the board, and like last year I helped with a family night, and I was holding up car rider signs and like chasing people like please come, and we didn't have that good of a turnout. So it's like I'm new to try to figure out ways to get people to come.
yeah. I think so. For me, I think school demographics change quite frequently. Where I live, I'm not as familiar with where you live, but I do know that school demographics change within a community. Not super frequently, but ours kind of ebb and flow in a lot of different areas. So, and when we do the same thing all the time, sometimes it just doesn't hit the mark after a while, because people have changed and circumstances change. So I think part of it is really partnering with the school for them to also be echoing this message of showing up. They need to be in collaboration with the PTA. It can't just be us running this ball down the field by ourselves, right? So I think partnering with the school to really try to determine by doing surveys, maybe doing some listening sessions and really finding out and looking at your demographics. I know that demographics shift in schools quite often, depending on the ebb and flow of people within your community. If things, we have kind of a transient community where I live, so because we have a high population of military, so our student population does change a little bit, and the people change. So making sure you're looking at your demographics, maybe your languages are changing within your school, and you would need to do some outreach in Spanish or whatever languages that are prominent in your community, or maybe you need to do more virtual things, and sometimes giving people options of times, really asking, getting out in the community and asking them, what do you want to see? And is it a elementary school or
Yes.
is it elementary? It's hard.
It
Elementary.
seems like they love to come to like the fun things, but like I'm trying for the STEM night to be a good turnout. And it, like some of the kids, they're excited, but like a lot of them are like, eh.
Yeah, I think so for STEM and STEM activities, I think really getting that buy-in from your teachers is super important. So like, and what is that? Science, technology, math. So going to those departments and really seeing if you can get their buy-in on these things, because if they can get their kids excited in their classrooms and make it even kind of a challenge, kids will bring their families, like, we want to go to this event, like it's important, I need to be there, kind of a thing. All my friends are going to be there. So and if you can get some buy-in from teachers, I always find the biggest successes I've ever had for programs were when I collaborated with the educators in the building on projects that they just really didn't have the time to facilitate, but really wanted to do. So maybe I had that flexibility and time, and I had the ability to make things happen where they're busy, they have a lot going on, and they want to do it, but they don't have that extra luxury of some time to build out some programs. But those were always my most successful, is when I can get that buy-in from those departments, and they'd show up and they'd support the event as well. So I think for STEM night, that's critical for sure. And if you have partnerships with, I don't know your county as well as I obviously know my county, but for our STEM nights, we have a Museum of Science and Industry that we partner with. What is
We
it?
have a Pensacola mess hall
Is that like
that does something similar, and we have a Code Ninjas, which is a franchise, but we have a local Code Ninjas.
yeah,
Um,
organizations like that, and bringing them in to help facilitate, what is that, mathnasium? I don't know if you have
yeah, we
that.
have one of those here too.
To help facilitate some of that. It really gets some excitement, and they can usually bring prizes in as well to get the kids excited about it and draw families in.
Yeah, Kelly put in the chat that maybe push for extra credit. The teachers could give
Mhm.
extra credit to the
Mhm.
kids that come.
Homework
Do
passes,
it
if you see me there, kind of stuff like that.
right, and maybe a gift certificate for the teachers.
Mhm.
Unless they're donated, they have to stay at $25. Kelly, PTA can't purchase a gift card over $25. Correct, Amy?
You can do two $25 gift cards a year for, it has to
Right.
be for one person. So.
Right.
If you can't,
So-
if you do 25 for Melanie, you can't do another 225, like you could do it twice a year, but you
Right.
can't do.
But what I was unclear with, and you have been around longer than I have, if company A donates a $50 gift card, you can use that, right? Because we
Yeah,
didn't purchase it.
if they're facilitating that drawing, that's fine.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if you have Mathnasium come in and do, a table, and they were doing some math activities for your STEM night, and they had a $50 gift card or whatever, and they were facilitating that drawing, that's fine.
Right.
As long as
We
it's
just
not
can't.
PTA funds. If PTA,
Yeah, we cannot
Yeah.
purchase more than $25 gift card with PTA funds. Thank you. I was not putting the right words in there.
Yeah.
But it's a great idea. I was going to say the same thing that last year when I was working on several local unit boards. The food wasn't bringing the parents in, but if we said we're having a drawing for a gift card, all of a sudden we had 100 parents. So it just, and it also, like Amy said, it depends on your school clientele, your economics of the school, but your parents, the parents of the school around you. Sometimes the ability to go purchase something at Dollar General or Walmart supersedes pizza. And sometimes it's the other way around. You just have to know your audience.
Yeah.
A lot of times, again, going back to communicating with your principal, most principals really, really know their parents and their families. And they're the ones that'll tell you a lot of times what will bring them.
Yeah. Or your social worker. You know, you may
True.
have, a lot of our schools, like the middle school my daughter went to was magnet school. So it wasn't a community school. Everybody was coming in some sort of transportation every day. So getting families to show up for events was a challenge because they were from the entire county, and our county is the size of Rhode Island. So it can be very challenging. So knowing if your community is a community of walkers and bike riders, or is a community of families that are coming from all over the county. So that can really impact your attendance as well. What else?
Okay. Anybody? Last chance to ask a question from Amy
And if-
Marie.
And if you think of something after, you're more than welcome to email me. And I will share a School of Excellence training that I just did for Pinellas with you, so you can send that out. If anybody is
Yes.
interested in School of Excellence, I highly encourage you to register for that as well.
Yes, we had a little blurb of that on a Zoom recently, and I have discovered our YouTube channel, I do believe, and or created one. I can't remember now, but anyway, I got it. So I'm going to start posting these videos on YouTube.
Awesome.
Hopefully soon.
If you need help, let me know. I'm happy to help you. I just posted,
Yes, ma'am.
I just created a School of Excellence Zoom for Florida PTA. Don't tell.
I'm going to stop the recording right now. If we're
Actually,
done with that.